CDC announces vaccinated people can gather indoors without masks. More on the announcement and what it means for you. Plus, President Biden signs an executive order on voting rights. See what UGA organizations and professors have to say. And later, UGA commencement will be held in person this semester. How students are reacting. All that and much more right here, right now on Grady Newsource.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College of the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
And good evening. Welcome to Grady Newsource. I'm Jared Eggleston. We begin with a developing story tonight. The CDC is out with new mask recommendations for those who have been vaccinated. The guidelines state that those who are fully vaccinated may gather indoors, maskless, and without social distancing. They may also gather with people from another household who are not vaccinated as long as they are at a low risk of serious illness. You are fully vaccinated 2 weeks after your second Pfizer or Moderna shot and 2 weeks after your first shot of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. The CDC says that people should still wear a mask in public and avoid large crowds. They did not update current travel guidance at this time. For more details on the new guidance, head over to cdc.gov. Today, Georgia grade K through 12 teachers are getting their first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, but there is one group that has to wait a little bit longer: university faculty and staff. Grady Newsource reporter Adalberto Solis has more on the story.
University of Georgia faculty and staff are the only group of educators that have to wait a bit longer for the COVID-19 vaccine. Governor Brian Kemp at a press conference in late February said college professors were not included in the list of educators because, quote, "From our perspective, college and university employees are dealing with an older population. They have a lot of different options per the university system for the way they handle their classes and social distance," unquote. Janet Frick, a University of Georgia psychology professor, disagrees with him on vaccine rationale.
There's just a bit of discrepancy in terms of the rationale that is used for why university level employees should not also be eligible right now, particularly ones who are teaching face-to-face or who are employed in student-facing settings.
Professor Frick says that the University System of Georgia placed a greater emphasis on in-person instruction. In its hybrid model of teaching, classrooms are at reduced capacity, and some students attend online while others may attend in person. According to DocCheck data, 8 employees tested positive for COVID-19, and since the beginning of the spring semester, the university has reported a total of 1,300 cases. The CDC urges college, faculty and staff, and students to continue to use mitigation strategies such as mask wearing, social distancing, cleaning facilities and high-touch surfaces, and contact tracing to protect those around you. From Grady Newsource, this is Adalberto.
Oconee County schools are using today to give students a break from class and teachers an opportunity to go and get vaccinated for COVID-19 if they choose. The Oconee County Chamber of Commerce wanted to show love to its educators by having community members bring in thank you posters, banners, and cards to decorate the Piedmont Oconee Health Campus's vaccination clinic. It will vaccinate workers between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. today by appointment. The clinic partnered with the school system to ensure any teachers who wanted to get the vaccine could get their first dose today. If you're looking for a vaccine in Oglethorpe County, well, you're in luck, as Wednesday marks the opening of a new mass vaccination site. Qualifying residents can get their vaccine at the Oglethorpe County Recreational Department Gymnasium. Among those who qualify are those who are 65 or older, their caregivers, healthcare workers, educators, and school staff, first responders, and funeral home workers. The vaccination site is set to open their doors this Wednesday, March 10th, and is open throughout the week, Monday through Friday, from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. You can sign up by calling 706-388-5709. Today is the first full day of President Joe Biden's executive order to promote voting access. Grady Newsource reporter Zach Miles has more on Biden's decision, which came on the 56th anniversary of the Selma marches. We do want to provide a warning that some images you might see could be disturbing.
On March 7, 1965, protesters started their march from Selma, Alabama to Montgomery. They were protesting for the constitutional right for black citizens to vote following the Civil Rights Act of 1964. State troopers met the black demonstrators after they crossed the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Television crews captured law enforcement brutally attacking black protesters that day, a day that many remember and call Bloody Sunday. UGA's NAACP is a chapter of the National NAACP, which tweeted this yesterday in remembrance of Bloody Sunday. The tweet acknowledged the late Georgia Representative John Lewis, who marched in Selma and was hospitalized after being attacked during the march. UGA NAACP Executive Board member Helena Matukmabong explains the importance of remembering Lewis and March 7th.
I think it's really important to know history and to appreciate history because history can repeat itself. So John Lewis really stood for good trouble, which I think the whole UGA chapter of NAACP stands for. Where sometimes we kind of push for things that a lot of people would kind of shy away from. But like John Lewis said, good trouble is necessary to be able to kind of get to where we need to be.
56 years later, President Joe Biden signed an executive order to expand voting access. Biden declared that each federal agency would have 200 days to submit plans for increasing voter registration and participation. Biden's executive order has multiple action steps listed in the graphic. The executive order will help promote and improve informational resources for voting. The goal is for more minority groups and historically disenfranchised voters to get voting access. UGA Professor George Krause is an Alumni Foundation Distinguished Professor of Public Administration. Krause believes that Biden's executive order could improve Northeast Georgia voter turnout if legislation is introduced.
Those kind of interactions that citizens may have with the federal government, even if you're in, let's say, Athens, Clark County, that will help get you either more information that'll make it easier to vote and register, or maybe even let you use an alternative form of identification. But that's conditioned on state law, right?
I'm Zach Miles with Grady Newsource.
And Oprah's interview with the Duke and Duchess of Sussex has sparked talk of race, mental health, and the toxicity of the press. Grady Newsource reporter Southern Brit has more on the story.
If you're going to come on television and tell your story, you want to go to the Empress of Empathy.
Meghan Markle and Prince Harry spoke out on their life with the royal family for the first time since Britain's prince and America's actress got married in 2018, revealing an eye-opening look into their side of what happens behind palace doors. For their short time as royals, they were affiliated with events and charities while under incessant scrutiny of the British press.
If there is still a continuous cycle of news and discourse about them, then, of course, someone is going to need to speak back.
The 2-hour interview allowed Prince Harry and Meghan Markle to break their silence after giving up their duties as members of Britain's royal family.
Her raising awareness for mental health issues. I really do think that it's good that young girls are going to see her come forward and stand up for herself.
And thanks to Oprah Winfrey's empathetic yet incessant questioning, Markle did not hold back her side of the story.
Queen Elizabeth, her entire reign has depended upon and relied upon the intimacy of television. It makes a lot of sense that they would then use television in the same way that she had, as a really domestic and intimate medium, beaming straight into our homes.
Oprah's interview drew above 17 million viewers for the network last night, according to Nielsen numbers. And while the royal life intrigues so many, Markle showed that even the most esteemed members of a monarchy can still struggle with difficulties like racism, mental illness, and yes, even suicidal thoughts.
It just adds to the lift that we're having in this conversation about mental health, of making it acceptable. If you're someone who's struggling with it, it'll make you feel a little bit better knowing you're not the only person going through it.
While the royal family has yet to speak out after the Duke and Duchess broke their silence, Oprah's interview reveals the struggles of a royal life.
Having all these people talking about it can really help those struggling and to maybe go forward and to say something to a person to go out and reach out for help.
Grady Newsource, Southern Brit.
Several residents have been protesting the construction of a parking garage downtown after several historic homes were demolished to make room for the structure. Grady Newsource reporter Willie Danley has more.
A group of protesters have been fixed on this corner in East Athens. They have been fighting Landmark Properties. Landmark Properties is the luxury student housing developer that has more than $4.1 billion in assets. In Athens, they own The Mark, The Standard, The Retreat on Millage, and Landmark Athens. While already expanding their footprint by constructing a third building next to The Mark downtown, Landmark Properties has demolished several historic homes in Pottery Town to make room for a multi-level parking deck, and residents of the area are up in arms.
They're in the business of destroying the character of Athens, and now it's just becoming like an Atlanta suburb, which is just stupid because Athens has its own culture that, needs to be preserved.
We live around here, we drive by every day, and we love the character of this historic neighborhood. I feel like it's a great potential area, right, that we could do something better with. And so I just want more transparency and more time for public discussion and more plans.
District 3 Commissioner Melissa Link has been an opposing force in the commission for luxury projects that are catered to wealthy students like this because of the lasting effects that they have on the community.
The first mistake made was laying that kind of intensive zoning on a historic neighborhood. I mean, I guess back then there was zero appreciation for it. I did save these things is to get way ahead of the ball and change zoning for properties long before anyone else is interested in pursuing profitable development on them.
The protesters plan to continue protesting this site until they begin a dialogue and potentially have changes made to the construction. I'm Willie Danley, Grady Newsource.
Madison County citizens spoke up about a power plant waste entering their waterways. When we come back, we hear their reactions.
Okay, so we drowned the fire, stirred it, drowned it again, and now just feel if it's cold.
Yeah.
Cool.
Smokey just gave me a bear hug.
I know. I already posted it.
Take a look under your bed. Find stuff under there? What about jobs? No? Now try your closet. Still no jobs? Just more stuff? Well, you really have both. See, stuff is defined as household articles considered as a group. Sometimes this stuff is no longer needed. Wait, no longer needed? That can't be right. Because remember those jobs you were looking for? Those are really needed. And they're the stuff inside your stuff. Our job is to unlock those jobs. And it starts when you donate your stuff to your local Goodwill. Here's how we do it. When you donate to Goodwill, we sell your stuff to provide job training for people right here in your community. So just by teaming up with Goodwill, you help create jobs. And isn't that worth parting with the leftover keytar from your 80s cover band? Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Maybe you can make retirement happen. After all, you made this vacation happen.
Double points with every purchase?
Cleverly merging promotions.
Love it.
Cross-referencing travel sites. And booking all your flights with those...
Vouchers. I got us bumped.
They were like, oh. But now they're like... Aloha. You aced this vacation. Now get the tips you need to get on track at aceyourretirement.org.
Madison County residents had the opportunity to make their voices heard on March 2nd when they expressed their views on power plant waste entering their waterways. Grady Newsource reporter Jillian McIntyre has the story.
Local residents attended a public hearing on Zoom, and they shared their opinions about a Georgia Environmental Protection Division's permit proposal. This permit would allow the Georgia Renewable Power Plant in Colbert to release its wastewater into Beaver Dam Creek. One community action group that spoke up at the hearing was the Madison County Clean Power Coalition. Co-chair Gina Ward is not in favor of the permit. She lives 7/10 of a mile from the power plant's stack.
Okay, the impact would not just be on Madison County because these unnamed tributaries that are in people's backyards run into Beaver Dam Creek, and Beaver Dam Creek runs into the Broad, and the Broad runs into the Savannah River. So everybody downstream from us will be impacted.
However, the Georgia EPD disagrees. Wastewater Regulatory Program Manager Audra Dixon said that pollutants that residents fear will not enter their waterways.
A special condition stating there shall be no detectable amount of the 126 party pollutants contained in chemicals added for cooling tower maintenance except chromium total and zinc total was also included.
Despite Dixon's promises given at the hearing, Gina Ward said transparency regarding the permit is still not clear and that residents don't know the full picture.
I think that the public really needs to be aware of the fact that transparency is, they're as transparent as a brick wall. I think a very bright light needs to be shined on that right there.
Ward said now residents are waiting to see if their response was enough to deny the permit. For Grady Newsource, Jillian McIntyre.
And prom season is right around the corner for Jackson County High School. Grady Newsource reporter Jessica Green has more on how the event will look this year.
Last year we were prepping. We had gotten everything we needed. We were in the process of doing decorations, and literally it just kind of like, oh no, so.
Last year, Jackson County High School had to cancel their annual prom due to the pandemic. Now they have officially announced that they will be hosting the event in person this year. Prom committee co-sponsor Ashley Hardy says the community reaction so far has been positive.
I know like the students are really excited the fact that we're actually going to have a prom.
The event is scheduled to take place here at the Brazelton Town Green on April 17th. Hardy says they specifically chose this venue because it allows them to follow COVID-19 protocol.
So we'll be asking our kids to be socially distanced. We'll be providing them with masks, and it'll be an outside event to prevent close contact as much as possible indoors.
The CDC states that in-person gatherings increase the risk of spreading COVID-19, especially events with attendees from outside the local area. Wester says organizers are taking necessary precautions to make the event as safe as possible and that the same measures will be taken at this year's in-person graduation. Hardy notes that some key differences this year may include limiting attendees to JCHS students only and using food trucks instead of traditional catering services for added safety. Jessica Green, Grady Newsource.
Hi, I'm Peter, and there's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends. Come on in! Help yourself to anything. That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ache than never. To learn more, visit SaveTheFood.com.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Attention travelers, next Tuesday a major power outage will cause complete chaos throughout the city. Food, water, and phone service will be in short supply. There will likely be panic citywide. Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
And now, sports.
This is Katie Fugit with your Grady Newsource Sports.
Georgia women's basketball made it all the way to the SEC Tournament Championship yesterday, but the team lost to South Carolina with a final score of 67-62. This was the team's first appearance at the SEC Championship since 2004. The team advanced to the championship under head coach Joni Taylor, who was selected as the 2021 SEC Coach of the Year earlier this month. The Commerce High School girls varsity basketball team also made headlines on Friday for its playoff game against Calhoun County. Although Commerce lost with a final score of 46-38, this was the first time the team advanced to the Final Four since 1989. Over the weekend, Atlanta hosted this year's NBA All-Star Game, the theme of which celebrated the traditions and culture of historically Black colleges and universities. The 2021 All-Star Weekend generated $3 million in donations to provide scholarships for HBCUs. Katie Fugit, Grady Newsource.
We'd do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
Can we get strawberries? Okay.
And now, the weather.
It is a beautiful day in the neighborhood. In Athens this week, primarily sunny to partly cloudy skies with highs in the low 70s. Right now, it's feeling like the springtime as it's 66 degrees out, getting ready to cool down this evening to the mid-50s around 9 tonight. Tomorrow's forecast is mostly sunny, a tad bit warmer with a high of 72 degrees and a low of 39 in the early morning with partly cloudy skies. The wind these next few days will be relatively moderate with humidities of 25% or less expected for 4 or more hours this evening. Low humidity is a prime condition for high fire danger, but if you're planning on gathering around the campfire, have no fear.
When we think about prescribed fires, which is who the fire danger statements are typically issued to, it's because they're performing like huge fires by experts. So that can really go out of control when you're burning an entire field. I would say with the general population today, I mean, your fire is going to burn really nicely because there's low relative humidity, but you don't have to be too nervous about the wind gusts.
Please refer to your local burn permitting authorities concerning whether you may burn outdoors, and if you do, be sure to use extreme caution. That being said, enjoy the sunshine as it continues to warm up this week without any rain in sight. With weather from Grady Newsource, I'm Alex English.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. So how does a tissue dance? Put a little buggy on it.
Hamilton was adopted from a rescue in 2008. He really likes to be around people. And as soon as I start to make my breakfast, Hamilton is right there. I get out my mat and I'm doing a downward dog and he's underneath. He's quite the pug about town. He gets invited to a lot of parties. He knows he's a pretty big deal. I mean, look at this little face. How could you not love him?
Welcome back. Tonight via Zoom, the Black Theatrical Ensemble will present a variety of performances, musicals, and visual acts telling the stories of Black students' experiences virtually. BTE's President Nala McCamey says that the purpose of this performance is to give everyone a moment and a chance to feel and breathe. In the Moment is a new idea that the board has been working on with the theater department since the summer. Students can perform a song, a poem, or a monologue, whatever makes them feel good.
So, In the Moment is something kind of new for us. It is essentially a showcase of like student stories and how students are just like moving through these times. So like the purpose was to be like, this is a moment for you just to feel, and whatever medium feeling is for you, you feel that way. So someone submitted a poem, someone talked about their art piece, there's a dance in there, there's songs, there are monologues. It's very, very diverse. It was just a moment for students to like breathe and feel in whatever way worked best for them.
This is the first time the theater department has worked with student groups. With the help, McCamey is confident that everyone will give stellar performances. Pre-COVID, the performance would have been in person. However, now the Zoom link is available for anyone to reserve and tune in tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Just Google BTE In the Moment and click the Zoom link. Well, that will do it for us here tonight. I'm Jared Eggleston. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great night. No.
Grady Newsource is a student production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Is the seat supposed to be forward-facing or rear-facing? Did they move to a booster seat too soon? It may be too late to check when you're on the road. Fortunately, you're on the couch. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Don't think you know. Know you know.
I'm a single mother, and I was the main one working, so I never thought that I could go back to school, you know? My sister, my mother, everybody wanted to help me with my kids. I could not have gotten my diploma without my family.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90-mile-per-hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. That's it. Let's go.
There's a lot of